Hi guys, this is gsn.com and I'm here with the unboxing of a brand new OnePlus Nord phone. It's called the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite 5G. I know it's a mouthful, but if you remember the CE, it's supposed to be a core edition, and this is the Lite version, second generation. Okay, so an affordable phone should be priced at around 299 euros, should be maybe $300 in some countries, with a beautiful backside. It's an interesting approach here. As you can see, the top part looks like a lighter blue and the bottom part a darker blue. Should be like a Mediterranean Sea or something like it, with a differently colored camera module. It's a rather large phone, and the diagonal also says so, 6.59 inches, and the device puts a lot of emphasis on its 5000 mAh battery, its Snapdragon 695 CPU, and well, I would say it's basically a typical mid-range phone with a typical mid-range price. So as it fires up, let's see what we have inside the box. By the way, these days we're also playing with the OnePlus Nord Buds headphones and with the OnePlus Nord 2T. Be assured to check out our YouTube channel gsn.com, where we have the unboxing of the OnePlus Nord 2T aside from this model, because they were launched together. Okay, in the box we have this case, which is transparent and flexible and has all the required cutouts. Next up we have the envelope with the key used to access the slots. A message from the team over at OnePlus, actually the Nord team. They have a specialized dedicated team making Nord products. Quick start guide with all the useful info you may require. Quite nice. And you can see here the brand new shelf, which has been moved from where we usually had it, and some safety information. Okay, next up we have the typical classical red cable connecting the charger with the phone, or the phone with the PC, and the charger, which is a 33 watt SuperVOOC unit with an USB-A connector. And I think we're about done. Now let's put everything back together as I tell you more about the phone. Should probably mention that the design is plastic. It's a plastic body that we have here, and the thickness is 8.5 millimeters, and it weighs a rather hefty 195 grams. Okay, let's actually finish this before we go further. Okay, let's get back to it. So 8.5 millimeters isn't that bad of a thickness, but 195 grams means it's quite heavy, which can be justified by the large battery. The grip is quite fine. I find it to be grippier than the OnePlus Nord 2T. The flat sides may also help a bit. And I like the fact that the back is striped. I'm not sure if you can see this. There are multiple minuscule stripes here, making it a bit more elegant. It's a bit long for one-hand usage. It's definitely long if you're planning on using it with a single hand. And quite bright at this current calibration, so let me turn it down a little bit. Okay, so not that down. Okay. So as far as the screen is concerned, we're dealing here with an IPS LCD. You can probably tell that already. It's not an AMOLED. It's 6.59 inches, Full HD resolution, and it also has a 120 Hz refresh rate, which is actually superior compared to the OnePlus Nord 2T, which only has 90 Hz. sRGB or DisplayP3 calibration. And if you go inside the phone, let's see what CPU we have there. And actually it's a familiar CPU if you've been following our channel and the website. It's the Qualcomm Snapdragon 695, which will be confirmed right now. Snapdragon 695 5G. Also present on the Realme 9 Pro, Poco X4 Pro 5G, and Moto G71. It's a pretty solid processor, the best from the Snapdragon 6 series. And in this case it's accompanied by 6 gigs of RAM, LPDDR4X. There are also versions with 8. 120 gigabytes of storage, and it's UFS 2.2 storage, by the way. There's also micro SD, which is always good news. You can expand the storage, and nowadays you can also expand the RAM with a special RAM expansion feature. 5000 mAh battery, 33 watt charging, and for the sake of security we have a side placed power button with fingerprint scanner. This finger isn't the one registered, this one is, and you can see it's quite efficient in unlocking the phone with a reasonable speed. Now we do have an audio jack, microphone, USB-C 2.0 port, and a speaker, a singular speaker. On the connectivity front, you are being offered the 5G, Wi-Fi dual band, Bluetooth 5.2. We have GPS, AGPS, GLONASS, Galileo, Beidou and QZSS, and you also have NFC here, and the port is USB-C 2.0. Taking advantage of the white background, this one is a 16 megapixel camera. It's a bit of a star. It's the Sony IMX471. It's borrowed from the OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro. It's got the exact same frontal camera as the last year flagships, which is actually not bad. Going to the back side, we find the triple camera here. The star of the show is a 64 megapixel shooter, which combines 4-in-1 pixels for 16 megapixel shots. It's got a 6p lens, lots of 6s here. And then we have the small 2 megapixel cameras, 2 megapixel bokeh and 2 megapixel macro, LED flash, and something called multi-autofocus, which is a combination of phase detection autofocus and continuous autofocus. You can zoom up to 6x as far as I know, and only shoot Full HD video. That's a limitation of the product. We have a macro feature, dual view video, panorama, pro, slow-mo. This is the portrait area. You also have an AI scene enhancement feature. You can take full 64 megapixel shots in the full resolution. And here's the video department where, as I said before, you can only choose Full HD or HD. We also have a night mode thrown in for good measure. Now, the software here is Android 12 as far as I know, but let me check it just to make sure. About device, here we go. It's Android 12 and Oxygen OS 12.1 applied on top of it. It includes, among others, the brand new shelf, which you can see here. It's an aggregator of your, well, widgets and useful shortcuts, and a note-taking application and a pedometer. Here you have all the news feed required and from Google, and as you can see, we are relying on gestures to get around, navigate, and do multitasking. Gamers also have their own department, which I have yet to activate, as I've played with the phone only for a little while so far, but there are many options to have fun with the phone. Okay. Now, aside from that, let's see what else we have here. We're supposed to get a 50% charge for the battery from 0 to 50 in 30 minutes, and the touch response is 240 Hertz, so gamers beware. And we also have a GPU frame stabilizer, which also helps with gaming. Lots of gaming features, by the way, surprisingly so, because it's not advertised like a gaming phone. And if you go into the display department, you got the auto brightness, eye comfort, auto rotate, and refresh rate can be set to 120 Hz as it is from the factory, or 60 Hz to conserve battery and take a more non-gaming related approach. Now this is it, and software wise you're being treated to something like 2 years of Android updates and 3 years of security updates, which is not bad for a mid-range phone, which should cost around $300 in most regions. And well, that's about it. First impression, it's a long phone but easier to handle than the OnePlus Nord 2T. Shows a bit of promise from the large battery, the processor which we already tested on a few devices, and a good looking design, especially in this color hue. It's a bit hypnotic, the top side. A lot of gaming features which intrigue me on a mid-range phone. We'll see more in the review. That's it from us from jasonon.com. This has been the unboxing of the OnePlus Nord CE2 Lite 5G. Goodbye.